Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 PS3 review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Ridge Racer Unbounded, which if you've never played it before, it's a racing game. However, it's not your usual Ridge Racer. It's kind of like if Ridge Racer met Mod Nation Racers met Burnout. Because there's track creator on it, which I'll try and show off. That's simply the My Cities there. And I'll try and show it off. I usually hate doing them in vids because it's so awkward and annoying to make sure I mention everything and show it all off, as well as the fact that it's usually boring to watch. But anyway, it's then also a racing game, and it's a game where you can take down opponents and crash through things, which is kind of like Burnout, only there's not a dedicated crash mode or anything. So, you've got Dominate Shatter Bay, which is the one-player game, Dominate the World, which is the online game. Lag will kill any racer there and then, so I don't play them for online. I'm simply playing the game on my own and taking turns with my brothers. View progress is quite simply where you can view the awards that you've got, so there's all sorts of different things to get. They're not all trophies as far as I'm aware, because I think I'd unlocked about 15 awards and I think I had 2 trophies at that point, so either the trophy system is broken or they don't correlate awards, which is kind of what I expect. Player statistics is quite simply view how many miles you've driven, this, that and the other. When you go into the game, you start with the one race. I believe it might have been the 2 races, I can't remember, it was a long time ago now that I started the game. And the whole point is you get stars depending on how well you do, and then you move up and you get other things and you unlock new classes of cars and new areas of the city and that. Quite simply, there's different categories of racing. There's Domination Race, where the whole point is it's a race, but you can earn power to take out the opponents by crashing into them with the power system. You don't have to have that on to take opponents out. You can do it if you get a right jarring hit on the side and shove them into a corner section or something that will take them out. However, mainly you do it with the power. Drift attack, the whole point is you just drift for points. Shindo racing is just straight up racing really, whereas instead of getting power you get nitro boosts. The only difference is it's blue instead of orange, and you can not crash into the other cars really to take them out instantly. Other than that, it is the same thing, the nitro and the power. Time attacks, your standard time attacks. Frag attack, you for example go out and destroy as many cop cars as you can, that one says there. So here we go then, I'm going to just simply go into a regular domination race. As I say, you do unlock different cars as you go along, and there's, I'd imagine, going to be DLC, mainly because there was DLC that came with it, because this is the limited edition version, so with that you get, just quickly reading the names of them because I always forget, you get 3 cars, which is the Immortal, Road Wolf and Ghoster. You then get the 5 paint jobs, which I doubt I'll ever forget because they're incredibly cool. You get Pac-Man, Gallagher, Tekken. I nearly said Tecmo there because I've been reading a lot about a Tecmo game earlier. Apologies. So, Pac-Man, Gallagher, Tekken, Soul Calibur and Ace Combat. And I'm going to use the Soul Calibur one now just to simply show it off because it's a cool paint job. As I say though, I do apologise about that because I have been reading about a Tecmo game, so I nearly called it a Tecmo car. One of the major problems with the game is load time, so I'm going to cut into the race because it doesn't have an install, and oh boy does it need one. So, probably the first thing you'll notice when you put the game on yourself is that graphically the game looks absolutely beautiful. Because it really does, especially details on crashing through things, and almost anything can be crashed through or into. Obviously not that one though, which is why I've just had to reset my car. Handy little feature that you can pause it and reset the car, because it's a hell of a lot better than letting all the traffic go past you while you're resetting it. Don't get me wrong, it still slows you down, it's not something you want to do, but it's rather cool that that's how it handles it. Anyway, as I say, most things you can crash through, crash into, and it won't harm you. Not everything can be crashed into. Some things can only be crashed into when they've got power behind you because they're shortcuts or alternative routes or anything like that. And hopefully I'll get to show one off soon because I think there is one coming up, so I'll just save this power. Although to be fair, I can probably get more, and he's annoying me. There we go. Yeah, I got more just by taking him out, and it felt good taking him out. And this is what I mean by it's kind of a bit like a Burnout game as well, other than the handling, which I must admit the handling does take a lot of time to get used to. This isn't the sort of racer that you can jump straight into and be amazing at. It's not a realistic racer, but it's not an arcade racer. It's kind of a mix of the two, and there are points when I was absolutely screaming and swearing at the game, just turn, you swear word. And for swear word, would you just turn? Because it does get to the point with some cars that they just don't seem to want to ever turn a corner. It's almost as if they've been designed as drag racers and then put into a street race. It's just stupid at times, but once you get used to it, and once you get into the swing of the drifting system, which is completely different to your other Ridge Racer games, it's much more important, I suppose, on this one, because you do it to have to earn power in that. You can also earn power by racing well and using slipstreams and that. But it does seem that if you don't drift on this game, then you won't come anywhere near the top 5, let alone the top 3, which is where you need to place in order to get stars. And to be fair, I'm going off on that little tangent there. I've now completely forgot what I was in the middle of saying. So I suppose I'll just get back to the basics of the gameplay. As I say, crashing into things does create new routes. I've shown 2 off now, thankfully, and it's just an excellent game with racing itself. It's just the handling, which I've just remembered is what I was talking about, that does take a while to get used to. But it's not exactly unplayable. It probably is for the first couple of races, but after that you get used to it and you realise that this could very well be the new future of the Ridge Racer franchise, because I genuinely think this could very well be the best Ridge Racer they've ever made. I absolutely love the gameplay, I love the style, I love everything they've done with it. The graphics, they've outdone themselves, I think. Personally, I think this is the best looking Ridge Racer I've ever seen. Musically, Ridge Racer's always kind of been famous for having a lot of music tracks. I mean, hell, the Vita one that I reviewed, I must have downloaded an extra 100 music tracks totally free of charge. So music is a pretty big thing for Ridge Racer, and I think on this it's absolutely phenomenal. So I'm going to shut up and let you listen to a little bit, and then I'll go into a different race type. Not that there's much difference with watching them, because I'm still aiming to go first. So I've put this racing mode on simply to show off the blue streaks, just to kind of show what I was talking about when I was gibbering on a bit and not making much sense. And the actual races to the games do play kind of differently, because as I say, that there's not an emphasis on smashing into your opponent. It can still be done from time to time, but it's not as easy as you activate it and that's it, you get taken out. I mean, if it was, I would have just been taken out there because I was touching him when he activated his boost. But they do still have energy bars. I suppose enemies is probably the best thing to call them. They're not particularly bad guys. One of them might be a doctor trying to cure cancer or something, but for all I know is he's in a car and I have to beat him. So it still does bring up the energy bars on them so you can see, and oh boy have I chose a bad car. I've managed to do a 360 without trying and then swerve into a wall. So I think now is probably a good time to put on either the drift challenge or the frag one. I think, to be fair, the frag one, it's more, well, it's better to watch really than just seeing a guy spin around like a madman, because you've just seen that happen and then I crashed into a wall. So, as you can see, I'm in the Behemoth now, and my sole mission is to kick the crap out of the police. So that's pretty much that mode then. It's rather fun, however, the Behemoth itself is pretty much impossible to drive. It's one of those, it's probably a good thing it's designed to crash, because I think they'll be doing it quite a bit. As I say though, that's the only other modes really I could show off. There's not really much I can say about the game. It's an excellent racer. It's one of the best that's came out in a while, because I'm not keen on the Need for Speed games. I'm not keen on realistic races, because hell, you've just seen this spin out there on a game where it's not really easy to spin out on. I just suck at handling cars like that. Things like Forza and Project Gotham, I honestly could never drive more than 10 feet without turning around. It's not exactly my sort of racing genre, so I do like the daft ones like this. It's why I absolutely adored Burnout before Burnout became Need for Speed Midnight Club with Paradise. I absolutely hated that edition. It pretty much ruined everything about the franchise. I know loads of people rave about it, but I personally could not stand it. So if you do like those sorts of games, then this is definitely one to take a look at, because as I say, I think it's fantastic. The only thing I haven't shown off yet is the thing I've been kind of dreading showing off, so I suppose I'll do a quick cut into it now, the track editor. So, here I am in the event editors menu and that. One thing I'll quickly mention that I forgot to, at the end of every race, this is basically how you unlock the new stuff, the content and all that. You rank up with the XP that you've earned and the awards that you've got, so a little menu comes up telling you how much XP you earned, then shows you your progress bar, etc. It's something minor, but I still thought I should mention it. So anyway, onto the track creator. You can go onto the basic editor or the the advanced editor. With extra items and that. You can then go into the event options, so you can choose which type of thing that you want. So for now I'll just create a domination race, not that it really matters. And you can choose how many laps that you want. You can choose warm sunset, twilight, bleached sunrise, cold day, hazy sunrise, night. So the usual stuff really, I suppose. You can choose your street class, race class, special class, etc. So I'll go special class for now, and then actually go into the editing process, which I used to really like editors, but it got to the point where I found myself spending more time making maps that barely anyone ever played than anything else, that I just thought, well, what's the point? I'll just leave it to people who are A, genuinely gifted with it, and B, who actually get the time to do it properly, and just the sort of thing that get 5-star ratings or 10-star ratings, whatever it was, that actually were proper tracks, maps, etc. Because on things like Mod Nation Races, there was tracks that were absolute crap, but everyone in their friends list had voted at 5 stars, so it got to the top. And you think, well, what's the point in bothering with that? Whereas there'll be ones out there that got 2 stars, probably because barely anyone's in their friends list played it, and it's actually a great track. So it's pretty much the whole problem I've got with creating on these. But anyway, I've realised I'm babbling on and letting you watch a boring gridlock at the moment, so I've placed one down there, and basically the whole point is anything you place has to match up, and if you don't match it up, then it tells you like that. So there's red lines all over, there's no exit or anything, there's pretty much nothing I can do with it, so much so that I'm actually going to delete the pieces and try and start again. So right, where's some basic tracks so I can at least show off something? I suppose this proves just how little I've spent in this, because I'm just not a fan at all. So, right. There, I think I'm finally getting somewhere with creating a track. And you can pretty much put a load of stuff down. It shows you your progress bar in the top left as to saying what's going on and how much content you've got left that's allowed to do so. And now it's just basically I need to find a way of somehow creating the start and the finish line. I need to find my corner pieces. So there's a corner, and this really is going to be a basic track, so I suppose all I could say is I'm going to cut into the finished product of me playing the track, because that's pretty much all I could really think of to do now. It might look a little different from this, because I might have to change it, I don't know yet. So here we are, I'm on my track that I've created, and as you can see I've even managed to create the shortcut type sections with a bridge there. It's a very good editor, it's just I don't, as I say, I have the heart to really sit and constantly make tracks on that. I think it's best left to other people really, and it's the type of thing that if you've got the same attitude as me, then be happy with the fact that there's probably going to be thousands upon thousands of tracks to choose from, whereas if you do like to make them, then be happy that you are contributing to the thousands upon thousands of tracks that people like me will probably one day play. That's pretty much all I can really say about it. It's just, as I say, I made a basic track which is mainly straight line with a hard turn, straight line with a hard turn, but it's just to basically show off the types of things that you can do, because it's not exactly something that, even though it's a straight line with a hard turn, as you can see there's all this detail here. I'm driving through Chinatown right now, you know, there's like all sorts of Asian symbols and lanterns all over the place. There's gas stations or petrol stations. I personally prefer petrol stations, but I've been watching a lot of American TV recently, so I said gas. There's even crappy little adverts with Tyrannosaurus Rexes on and all that, you know. It's not exactly something that the game's skimped on. It does all the hard work for you, kind of like Mod Nation Racers had its populate the track feature. This just does it automatically, and it therefore means that even a basic track can still look fantastic. So there we go then. That's been the review. I hope you found it helpful. I don't score the games because that's based purely on opinion, so instead I'll leave you to make your own mind up. So thanks for watching, and if you've got any questions about the game that I didn't answer in the vid or that hasn't been answered in the comments, then feel free to ask and I'll help if I can. Also, if you did find it helpful, don't forget to check out my channel because there's plenty more like this up there, and don't forget to subscribe because there'll be plenty more to come as well. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.